One of the best trends for spring, the bell sleeve. All right, so let's do the pattern work first. I'm so excited about this bell sleeve. They're really popular for spring, and they're just fun to make. And for those of you who say, "Oh, I don't like pattern work," it's just a little bit of pattern work. It's not a lot of pattern work, but it's some really fun styling. So let me tell you my thought process in going through this whole thing. I wanted to do a bell sleeve. They're really popular for spring. They're easy to do. I really wanted to show you how to do it. But I wanted there's bell sleeves and there's bell sleeves. I really wanted a great bell sleeve. I wanted a really great bell sleeve that y'all would really like, and that I would really like, and that I would really wear. And so if I went back honestly to my younger years, I hated bell sleeves. I hated them, and I hated them because I was too tall and they hit at the wrong place, and I just didn't like them. So if you haven't liked bell sleeves and if you've lived through them once, I would really encourage you to go back, and I'm going to point out to you maybe why you didn't like them and how to avoid not liking them again, or how to get to where you like them and how they look good on you, because they are wide. And what we know about width is that width is can be a negative, but it can work to our advantage. Like the blouson, we're going to make it look kind of like a blouson is what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is, what I did is I shopped until I found something that I really liked. And so that took a lot of time because, again, I don't really like a bell sleeve, but they're cute. But if you notice, who they're cute on is stick figures that weigh 100 pounds, and then anything looks cute on them. So the concept is to bring in a body that's not a stick and make it look good, and that's the goal here. And to make us look fashionable. Like I said, I love the bell sleeve. All right, so I'm using pattern 312. The reason I'm using pattern 312 is simply because of the garment I saw, the garment I loved, and the garment that I liked the best physically, the way it looked on me. And so all of those things translate really, really well, and I'm really excited to bring you this. So pattern 312, Giorgio's top. So if we notice, and we don't have to talk about the front and the back, except that because I'm going to do this, I'm doing this out of a black knit. I'm doing it because I'm adding lace, and I'm doing it because I'm adding this neck piece. I'm combining all this with it. You all already know how to take the front and put this neck piece on and do that. You already know how to do that. So I'm not even going to show you how to do that. We did it in previous ones. These neck pieces are just beautiful, and this combined with this bell sleeve, I think is going to be a home run. Well, you're going to see if it's going to be a home run or not. So the one I saw, what it did is it had a little bit of lace, and the lace was, and we have this lace. It's a stretch lace. It's about, in width, it's about 8 inches wide. I want it to be half that here. So I shortened this 4 inches, and I'm going to add just a little bit of lace. I'm actually going to just use about 2 inches of width at the top of the sleeve. I just want a little bit. And the nice thing about lace is you can just cut it and you don't have to finish it. So when I'm making it, I'm just telling you this now to figure out how long you want your bell sleeve to be. Typically, this is a kimono, but if a sleeve comes in right about here on a body, and a sleeve is 27 inches long, 23 inches long, measure your sleeve, you want to work this backwards. So what I want to do is I'm going to have 3 parts to my sleeve. I'm going to have the part that's the kimono. I'm going to have this little section here, and then I'm going to have lace at the bottom. And this is a border lace, so this is going to finish it up. So those are my 3 parts. Now what you want is the fullness of the bell sleeve to be about hip length, which is the fullness of this top. So they're both going to be billowy and full. When you put your arms down, you notice the fullness is at your hip. Then that's okay, because and as long as what's important is that it's fitted up here and it's fitted up in the body and just under the bust. Doesn't have to be fitted through the waist, just under the bust, and then it can go into the fullness. So you're going to see that the Giorgio's top is going to do that. They're both going to do that, and they're both going to do it at the same place. So it's going to look very well planned, and you'll see the end result, and you'll see if you like it or not. And if you don't like it, then you can say, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't try that project. And if you like it, go back and this is the thought process of when I went through. And again, I was copying it from a ready-made garment. That really facilitates a lot of my answers. So I took 4 inches away so that the lace would be somewhat up here. This portion right here, I made 8 inches, and then the lace is 8 inches. So I kept that about the same. Now, they'll be a little bit shorter because I'm adding them together, but that's what's going to make up the sleeve. This is the belt section. So what I did is I took this, I made it the same width as what the sleeve is. And then, of course, how I figured the length was what I just went through. It's the same for the front and the back. All right. So then what I did is I took it on a piece of paper, and you can see that I slash, and I spread this. This right here is 6 inches. This right here is 13 inches. So it's about a 2 to 1. I went a little bit more, again, because I was measuring a garment, and I really liked the garment that I was measuring. So 2 to 1 is about what it is. You want to make these cuts. It doesn't matter if they're exactly even, but the whole goal in spreading these is that it keeps the shape of my bottom so that I don't need to hem, and it will be even. It will hang straight once it falls down. That's just a whole pattern making thing. Keep in mind that for me, this is a border edge lace. So this is just going to be laid on top, and I'll make it in one piece and then just seam it at the underseam. And that's going to be the bottom of the sleeve. So I want to make sure it's straight so that the lace hangs straight. I'm not hemming the lace. I'm not doing any of that. All right, so very easy to do. I've shortened this only because I want to add a lace piece in and because I want my total sleeve to be equal what my sleeve length would be. So figure out about where your sleeve comes in, put a regular sleeve on here that you use. I used a knit sleeve, and then subtract the difference. The total length of this for me is just a regular, hit my hand, so that when you put your hand down, the fullness and the fullness stays together. So this is the only little pattern work that I'm doing. I'm cutting this shorter, adding this in. It's the same width, deciding how long, and then I'm adding that on the end. And that's it. Cut, spread. On each of these pieces, when I cut out, I'm going to add a little bit of length. I'm going to add, for me, 2 inches. And I'm going to add an inch on each side of each piece when I cut. Inch, 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 inch. Every place there's a seam, I'm going to add an inch. And I'm going to do that just so I have a lot of fullness at the bottom and a lot of fullness at the bottom of the sleeve. Remember, 2 to 1 is quite a bit of fullness for this bell sleeve. And the top I saw, the bottom was really full too, and I really want to duplicate fullness at the bottom and fullness at the sleeve. I want the top to look like it matches the bottom. I mean, the sleeve to look like it matches the top. I have seen plenty of bell sleeves that are like on a sheath dress, and then the sleeve is the whole, it's like kind of like the focal point. So I just didn't want that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not what I wanted. This I want to be a top that I throw on with leggings. I want it to be an everyday top. I want it to look great, but I want it to be an everyday top. So there's all kinds of fun things you can do with this. You're going to cut 4 of these. So just there's going to be a seam here and a seam here. On some bell sleeves, you won't do that. You'll actually create the whole fullness at the bottom of the sleeve. You can make part of it longer. You can face it. There's so many things you can do with these bell sleeves. They're really just a lot of fun. But all they are is a matter of leaving this here. Your pivot points are along here, slashing here, opening up. And styling is what you're opening it to. So you've got to know how much you want to do that too. 2 to 1 is what I'm going to suggest you start with. And then you can go from there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out, we're going to sew, and we're going to come back and see the finished top. All right, see you in a little bit. So the bell sleeve is just, oh, I just really like it. And I told y'all I didn't really like this sleeve before, but it's such a feminine sleeve. It's such a pretty sleeve. But keep in mind, it needs to be paired with straight. It can't be full, full, full. So if you're going to do the bell sleeve and a full bottom, do your straight leggings. It's got to come in under the bust. It's got to come tight on the sleeve above it and then bell out. So it needs to give the eye something that differentiates the fullness of the sleeve and not thinking that the body is that full. Anyone can wear it. It's a great sleeve. Play with it. You know, there's so many different versions out there that hopefully now as you have the base as to how to draft it, you can incorporate the versions, the facings, the lace. You can see I put a slim row of lace here. This is stretch lace, and then the fullness down here. And I just loved it. Again, I was duplicating it from something I saw at the store. So it's not like I created any of it. I think once you have an idea, then you kind of know. And prior to that, I was kind of not sure, like how full do I make the bottom? So all those answers are really easy if you have something that you're going by. So this is just a base cotton knit. The neck piece being put on with it, and then the bell sleeve, and I love it. So enjoy one of the greatest trends this spring. Little bit of pattern work, and it's really a great ending. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns.